Yeah, hello there. Today we're going to continue watching the best matches of the Macao Cup, part two. So last week there was actually a really good comments and also good discussions about this thing. So we're going to try a few new things today. So first of all, we have a ad hoc studio. So greetings now from the, let me show, from the cold but sunny Normandy. So as you can see, there's a little bit of rain, a little bit of sun, and over here there is a day off between the competitions in the match race. So the Viking Cup has ended, and now we have tomorrow starting the International Bidance Cup. Yeah, so there was a very lot of interesting matches and etc. So we're gonna probably even have some other extra video material here and discussed. First match race event, probably with new rules. There's a number of new things that we have to address. But otherwise, the setup will be very similar like last time. So I have a number of videos that I have selected that we'll be watching here and discussing. So I think we watched these three videos from the day 3 and day 2. So now I have day 4, and day 5, the final actually over there. We got also the needed the rule look at the things. Then also here we have ad hoc setup for our boat model. So I forgot in the club my boat model. So we're not gonna have a proper blue and white models, but using the hotel's shampoo should probably also work for that one. So this would be our model boats that we're gonna use. So another new thing is that we're just also streaming to YouTube. I actually tested that. I think it was possible to upload the things there and did not get any strike. So I guess it's should be okay to actually stream this review of these things to the YouTube. Yeah, like that's the plan. I think also I have a little bit limited kind of view here on the comments, but yeah, it should be possible I'll try to track if there is any comments coming or not. Just yeah, let me know if there is sound coming. It should be all right. But if you watch this live, so of course you can also watch these things on YouTube later on if you actually not able just to check these things live now. So it should be then recorded from there. Okay, no, cool. So now let's jump into it. So without any further ado, so we got let me see what we have here. So there was an interesting match over here with Courtois versus Poole. So I believe didn't we watch that one? So hold on a second. I need to double check. I think we watch 1, 2, 3. Oh, day 4. So that might be actually semis, maybe already. So that I think it's interesting to watch. So again, Courtois, so #1 in the world in the women's ranking, also sailing here in Bidance Cup in France, and Chris Poole, which also #1 in ranking in the open ranking, have been actually a couple of times here in Bidance. So been umpiring some matches with him, always very interesting. But I think yeah, two interesting matches. So 1 hour. Let's check it.
Oh, sorry, I had the boat.
I need to maybe reduce the sound which comes from the streaming just to minimum.
Okay. For the last final.
Okay, hopefully there will be some background sound, but not something just to disturb. All right. So this is the previous match, I believe. EJ versus Attili.
Starboard issue. If the starboard boat. doing everything they can do to the boat speed across the starting line?
Okay, so here we have the next match. Let's see. So Chris Poole is in the on the left side on the screen here. It's actually on the yellow boat, gating from the starboard side,
And now the pressure
and
is
Pauline
on Chris
Courtois
Poole.
from the
Chris Poole
gating as a blue
lost
boat
the
from the
first
port side.
match against
Again,
Courtois.
I'm not going to be discussing too
So
much about the
we'll have to
basics of the
press
match racing
Chris
rule, but so we're going to focus on the interesting situation. But in case you want to maybe learn a little bit more, there is a lot of videos on the in the playlist, for example, on YouTube, and also I have some of them slaved in my playlist in my YouTube channel in the Ilya Barayev Sail Racing. You can find that one, so that's where I'm live streaming it. Okay, listen. So we have, I believe we are gating here. So at this moment we don't have the time, but just now the boat's just gated. That must be 4 minutes. Just we passed here. Okay, let's watch. So Chris Poole is a starboard right-of-way boat, and Pauline on the left needs to
Okay, you have
avoid.
to do everything
So and
up to
since I
cross
think yeah, there was on the
to
third day
hit it.
the pin was a little bit higher, or maybe it had something to do with the difference in the current there. Which was, I think, a little bit stronger current closer to the middle. So it might be that it allowed the boat to cross, but most likely I think it was just the pin was a bit higher. So you can see that the boat on the left is able to cross because the pin end is higher to the wind.
So Chris
They are
back
not
in the
able to
match.
cross
He
fully, but
leveled
they
up.
are at least able to get to the right side.
But Pauline
Okay, then
back
still Chris
back on his
in the
boat just to
yellow boat, which is a little bit in
wait for
controlling position, but
just
Pauline
wait
now
to
rolling
see
there. You
Pauline
can see on
speed
the
a little
race
bit.
committee there is the flag which says number
He's
4.
still
That means
faster
4 minutes.
well,
Here we go. There
protest
was a
from
Yankee
Chris.
protest from the boat
Looks like he
astern.
will overcut.
So I think
And
it's just
Chris
simple
just
windward leeward,
up,
not keeping clear.
take some more actions.
This
Let's see
is
what flag
wing
will
over there
fly
on the top,
come up.
and the umpires behind would give a penalty or
Yeah, it's all
show
depends
that. So
on
since we don't have a
they
flag over
overlap or
there,
not.
most likely
Yes.
that was a
So
green
what the
flag,
officer
so
say?
they
If
thought
they
it's
overlap
clear.
or not.
Okay, this is a pre-start. The
This
boats are
not bad.
basically now trying to
Still
position
can be
themselves
holding anchors
to
pretty
the
strong.
best position that they can um, get before for the start. And yeah, 2 minutes 30, basically trying to decide what position would allow them to execute the tactics for that day better. Would they like to go to the left side or the right side?
Yeah, there's you can see they're still talking about the weighing and
There we go.
as you can see,
Wind is a bit
Chris
light
make
now on
decision
this day.
whether I want
Um,
to take lead or I want to be a pushback. So he is
Yeah,
still
so
weighing
here it's you can
for
see a little
this
bit of the
race
setup of the
towards
Far East, I think
the front.
28R, the boat that they used over here. So, fairly standard and maybe good boat for the match racing. But okay, there we have. So now the boats are approaching to the start, and you
And
can see
really
that the
tight
Chris
position.
is actually looking behind this
And they're
back.
looking
So
for
he's actually
opportunity.
on the left side. Uh, There's something that he had they comment. I'm not sure about what it was. So anyway, he's on the left side, leeward
Okay, you can
boat,
hear
and
there's
Pauline is
Chris.
on the right
There's
side.
Chris.
Uh, so here you see on the right side is the race committee boat, and then straight ahead from the boat, this is a pin end. So there's 1 minute
Yeah, Chris looks
before the
by the
start,
fin.
but there is
There's no
quite a lot
speed.
of time to kill.
He's
So
not
now you see
influenced
that Chris is doing fishtailing.
from
So
the boat.
he's basically turning up and down, basically to
Up
sail the
close and
longer
downward.
distance
Chris on the
and
left
to be
by
able
Pauline.
to kill the time
So
while
Pauline is
still
in a
getting
strong
the lured
pushing
um,
position.
start. Probably he wants to start at the pin. And now, as you can see over here, Pauline behind, trying to push them to the start. So as they're both behind, they always have a little bit more time because they're just a bit behind. So and now if there is some time to actually kill, so both ahead is a little bit of pressure. And what they can do and what they can, how much time they have actually to kill before they approach the start. So this is a classic fishtailing that you have in the pre-start. As you can see, 43 seconds, but they're still already almost on the starting line. Sitting over here, I think it's all again depends there on what kind of tactics that they would like to execute. So who wants to take the left side and who wants to take the right side. I think so. Okay, cool. So then basically, because as a trailing boat, Pauline had to actually turn to the right and then
You can see
take
that
the right side. I
see
think for a
the
while,
time trial. The
Chris was
Pauline is
just a little
the
bit
full
trying
speed
to control them, but
start
now
at
it's a split start. So that's it. Now there is a start. We're at the zero. Very
the
often
Chris
happens
start.
between the strong teams
Look
that
at
there
the
is a
boat
split
speed.
start instead of
It takes
actually
time
boats
for
trying to get
Chris
the
to build the speed,
um,
and he his tempo
trying
is
to
very low
really
speed.
be
That's
going
what
the
makes
same
him
direction and fight that they're
fast.
trying to basically get the split start. So like last time, we're gonna skip the next flight and
Let me
go to the continuation
see the pace. Whistle as a
of
match in this flight.
the
It's
flight between Chris Poole and Pauline Courtois. This might be also pretty
and you
interesting.
can
It's
see the
Gavin, Brady,
you can
and
see the time
Maxime
capsule
Mesnil.
from Gavin
Maxime is
on the
also
lower
was the
side.
winner of the Viking Cup now here yesterday in Bidan, but
It's
so there was some interesting matches with them, but they're not yet in my top list. So we might actually watch them later.
quite close to the lake
There we
line
go.
to the down.
Let's.
Okay,
And in
you can
case
see
of anyone just have
the
any
time
just
remain similar
questions or
as
any
during
comments, please, yeah,
this
send that
training
one either
as the boat
on the
move
comments now here, or
it's 4
basically
minutes
at
after the flight
you
done.
can send us the comments
It's
to
the
the live
final
stream, and
approach to the start line.
I'll respond
So
to you
Maxime is
later
still
on.
leading. Right,
Okay, let's
it's
go
time
to
to
the next
sitting
match.
to Gavin just
Uh,
being attacked.
there we go. This is a continuation of the match. So I think this is the first downwind for the
So
Pauline
Pauline still leading
Boa team
the
and
first
for
downwind
Chris.
leg.
Let's get oriented ourselves where we are.
Chris is leading. Yeah, Chris is leading.
So listening to the comments here, I just hear that Chris is
Kind of
leading and
having
Pauline is
a
behind. So
match
even
with
the
left
pre-start
to
was
lower
pretty
boat speed.
uneventful. There is no situation that I would like to
Manipulating
analyze with my
and
boat
other hand
models
grab the
over
mainsail
here.
by hand. So this is
So
direct control of the angle
yeah,
of the mainsail.
we basically would,
Press the mainsail
as long as there is
direct
some
control
interesting
pressure
situation, we
with
will
power.
just use them and to analyze. But this seems to be now relatively straightforward. This graph actually shows pretty interesting now development. As you can see that potentially now here, so after the jibe, Pauline is either getting a good buff. So she was the first one to actually take some good pressure. So she starts actually to catch up with Chris, who is on the now left side here. And they're going now to the gate, so which means that they're going to be rounding. And I think quite many times in this event we saw teams executing the downwind jail. So when the leeward boat as a right of way is able to push
Yes,
the
definitely.
windward
That's the
boats
strategy at this point.
and
It's be
put them
faster
in the
and
situation when they are
go to
coming to
the
this
right
place,
position
which
to
I'm now
to
showing over
to
here. This called like
kind of
downwind
downwind.
jail. So now,
In the
as you can
meantime,
see on the straight on the lines,
quite
the
close
Pauline
to the
is
lake line to the
almost
downwind
at the same line, but Chris as
So
a
you can
leeward
see
boat is right of
here.
way. So now
Really,
the leeward boat is
Pauline
just
is having quite good speed
changing
as
their
the wind,
course, trying to luff
as you
up
can
Pauline.
see the
But as Pauline is a little bit ahead
last part
and
is going to be flapping a little bit.
the good pressure, they are able to roll over. So as you can see also now, Pauline's
Going
bow
to do the
person is
jibe.
actually hoisting the jib while they're doing that one. So the reason is that they're anticipating also first two things, that they're approaching the mark. They would might need to do actually drop the kite and actually sailing around the mark. The second thing, there might be also a play where they're anticipating that they might be luffed by Chris's team and will need to actually respond to that. So for this purpose, they also would need to then drop the kite and potentially actually do the maneuver. I believe none of them is actually having any
Also,
penalties.
Pauline has enough
So
space to
as
attack
far as I
and
see, so I
defensively
think
take
then
attack.
they're continuing. So and as you can see now at the on the right screen, there is on the left side there's and actually on both screens there is a small round or dot over there. This is the gate, and the boats are clearly what is called outside the zone there. So Pauline is trying to get there, as you can now see if we have the setup over here. So if the oh, I need the zone. Let me now find some mark which would be a zone. If this is a gate, I need more gate over here. We'll use my ad hoc. So if this ad hoc setup over here, so if these two items are the gate, the boats are outside the zone, and Pauline over here is trying to get into the trying to get ahead so that they will be able to sail around the mark. But obviously, as the keep clear boat, they need to avoid Chris. So in this boat, so the only way of doing these things is to make sure that they can sail lower and faster. Why they're doing these things? Because even if they're able to get ahead, they still need to do a jibe, and then there will be port. So this boat, if the wind is coming from the front, so this boat is the leeward. Oh, sorry. In this case, this boat is the port giveaway boat, and this is boat that is right of way where Chris is. So usually that's why it's called downwind jail. That basically the boat over here is locked by and controlled by this boat. But having a better boat handling allows this boat to sail. If they can sail lower and faster, they're able to position themselves something like that, and then able then to jibe without getting any interference or being caught by the starboard boat. So that's basically the whole idea of the downwind jail and how you escape. And another option is that, of course, if you soak quite low, you are able to get to what we call like a zone over here, a zone around the around the gate, which means that the inside boat in this case, or the first boat to reach the zone, is able to have the mark room. So once the boat soaked in here, even if they are overlapped, they are as an inside boat will be able to get the mark room and sail, get the ahead position. Okay, let's see. That's the theory. Let's see how it plays out.
Because according to the rule, during jibing,
Okay,
once the boom cross the center
so
line,
as
the
you can
crew
see it
must
now, Pauline
start
is getting,
doing the
and you can see now they
beginner
passed the ley
jibing.
line. The
Chris was
difference from
pushed
the fleet
Pauline
racing
all the
is
way
that you are
through the
able to, you even if
to
you're
the
lap,
ley
the rule
line.
17 is off, so there is no
The ley line.
obligation
So
for
meantime,
Chris's boat
Chris
to
can avoid this.
jibe and go to the mark. So now, as you can see, Chris is in full
Yes,
control. So as he
basically
and
that
what,
won't happen.
how far does
Sometimes it won't
they
happen
want to
in the
go?
fleet race, but it happened a
So
lot.
basically, I think the intention of Chris is just to go. The best way would be to go to the ley line, windward ley line to the mark. Then, as they turn, they can throw as much as possible bad wind to trailing boat. In this case, Pauline. So let's see how what happens
Yes,
here.
lot. So the
And
doctor
Pauline now
can
just
see
jibed
when they
on the
jab and then lap
port,
stage.
and then because
So
she needs to
Chris
keep
will
clear, she
perfectly
jibes back
in
on the
control of the
starboard,
position.
and then she chooses to luff up.
Yeah, Pauline tried to attack back and
And
get
as
caught.
she chooses to then she kind of like
There's a lot
tricked Chris to
of
attack,
this.
and then she
Try to
jibed
take
back trying
aim,
to get the
lap,
inside position being
and to
inside
jibe back.
overlapped. Let's see
Yes,
if it works out. uh, so far so good, but
They
Chris
still
is
all
going
the
at a better angle,
passing
so he might be a little bit
to
faster.
the
So now the
wing back.
question is who's going to
Sorry,
reach
to the goal
the
line.
zone ahead,
Yes, yes.
being inside
Put in the
overlapped
but in the
or the
net.
first.
Yeah, Pauline is a
Now,
big love.
now as you can
Pauline the
see, the
goal.
Pauline was over
To the goal
here
line.
reducing the distance, and in
So
this
Chris
case,
is
Chris's
totally in
boat
the
needs to
control.
keep
But in the
clear.
net,
And because
yeah,
they're getting
Pauline is
very
a big
close and
love.
overlap, it looks like
Pauline our boat
there might
got the
be
number right.
there was a
Just make sure Chris
protest. There was a Yankee flag, and then
is
let's
he
see what's
okay.
the decision of the
Really,
umpires.
but if
Obviously,
they
for us, it's a little
overlap
bit difficult.
when
We
they
are
touch the
seeing it from
zone,
the different angles all the time, keep
then
on changing.
yeah,
And there we
got the
go.
approval.
So
But
it
look like
means
it's
that
not
there is
overlap.
actually, as you can see, that there is a penalty on blue boat.
Chris got
Penalty
to
on
go
blue
first, and he
boats.
got the mark. He do a jibe and
Since again,
nice
we were not in
double
this
landing.
umpire boat, what might have uh, happened over here is that as the distance was decreasing, this is the windward. Um, this is windward boat, Chris's boat, who needs to keep clear, and the boat over here is leeward boat right away, Pauline, and then the camera was switching there. It's very difficult actually to see what's happened from tracker and back. So, but I think usually the why the windward boat can be penalized is that there is a rule 16 which allows which tells that the boat which you are if you are changing the course and you're right of way. You need to give possibility for the keep clear boat to keep clear, so that you cannot just be very fast slamming and not letting the other boats have room to avoid you or chance to have to avoid you. Maybe that's what happens. Again, very the camera was switching back from a tracker and switched it back in the last moment, so we didn't see how the situation developed. But that would be my guess. Uh, Potentially, what was the reason for that call? Um, that yeah, let's keep on watching. Maybe there will be, I think, more interesting situation going forward.
So there's no
Okay,
choice for Pauline because
so
they
now
cannot sail to the other mark. Or
one boat
is it
has
she want to
the
sail to
penalty.
the other mark? Or that cost her a lot.
Um,
Yeah,
Pauline's
sail
boat has a
for the
penalty.
to
Uh,
short rounding mark.
Chris Paul boat has
Look at Chris
a
bow. His
bowsprit
bowsprit is still out.
extended. Usually,
He should be
it's
warned
so
by
normally it's not allowed, but
by
then you if
she
the
failed to do
teams
it.
forgot to retract them or didn't retract fully,
So
you
have a penalty.
as umpires
They still
usually
have
will
a
give a
penalty.
warning on the
So not so
upwind.
bad penalty
So
Pauline scored.
this is basically this rule, yeah, keeps on yeah sailing with that. Uh, Maybe yeah, I didn't read the sailing instructions for this event, but I pretty much sure that there is it should be some kind of like
With the wing
uh,
just
based on the standard
veering
sailing instructions, which
a little
actually
bit,
should
just move back
tells
on the
that
left
they
hand side.
can avoid. Okay, interesting situation now coming over here. It seems to be that considering the
Maybe
course of Pauline,
just
that there
check
might have been a
the
shift and
area.
maybe
I
also
mean,
change in pressure. It
just
looks like they're like really lifted. There's a probably a lefty or something like that. The tracker shows that Chris is tagged, but I don't think he actually tagged here. It was such a, I think there's a big shift there. Yeah, yeah. As you can see it here, he is still on the port tack and did not
left
tack.
hand shift again to favor the
Okay,
umpires.
so now what are the options over here? How the team how the Pauline can actually attack and win?
No, same thing. They just because wing is getting lighter, they move the body forward and leeward a little bit. Or look at the angle. Oh, that's a big loss.
Okay. All right. So yeah,
Might be
this
the
basically now here the upwind tactics. Obviously, the
that's because
both
not
teams
enough
are as there is a
it's
bit of a
just altitude.
distance. I think there is a very difficult to engage each other in the play, like a tucking duel. So they're trying to sail the best of their shift. and trying not to get all the way until the ley line just to get there to potentially get out of the runway. So
with the left hand shift.
okay, so here we have a next cross. Pauline is the boat on the starboard, as you can see right now on the screen,
You can see
and the boat in front is on port.
tack
Was on
in
port and
front
now
of her.
tacking back to
It's a
starboard.
light
So Chris,
color.
so he's protecting basically. Oh, as we're they're approaching to the ley line, he's basically also trying to throw the bad wind for them. Probably, I guess there's might be a good option that they're going to this mark, which is right ahead of us. There is a red mark.
So the crew is preparing the
So
kite.
yeah, small lift for
So lift off
Chris. Just basically get to the mark
almost everything ready
and do
for
the
hoist.
tack.
Yeah, they need to do a
Okay.
tack first.
All right, so Pauline is now trailing boat, but still quite close. So there is still a possibility to attack in the match race. There is boat which is behind on the keel boat and sort of like a displacement sailing boat. Usually the boat behind might have a good advantage of actually
There is a problem with the
catching
spinnaker is
the wind first,
yeah, you can see the
and
something is wrong with
yeah,
the
there's
wind
basically a
seems
possibility to catch the better wind
stuck
and
or
overtake. So
I've been stuck somewhere.
let's see what happens. I think it took a while for this boat now just to hoist the spinnaker. So there we go. Then actually now with a better speed, Paulins comes from clear stern, but they're actually now able to.
I think
Listen, maybe I didn't.
there's a fight between them, but
This maybe I'm just slightly not on the same page. I kind of believe that there was
see Pauline just get hooked
that there was
underneath Chris, and he might love Chris.
I think there is a penalty actually, which is on the blue boat, which is I think I believe is Pauline, but they managed actually to hook
Now
Chris.
Pauline
Yes,
just stay away.
exactly, and then trying to take off the penalty.
Make
Actually,
it
we saw last time how
oh
this played
very
out
good.
was played between the
Yeah,
other teams, or offsetting the
don't know what
taking a
happened.
penalty or giving
Initially
the penalty to
Chris
another
was
team.
leading, right? He got some problem
But
with the
yeah, now it got
hoist,
interesting
so that's
because
why
of that
maybe
maybe
he become
small
slow
technical
and then
problem
he
that with hoisting the spinnaker on
overspeed by
Poole's
Pauline.
boat, the
Once he
Courtois
decide
team was
to
able
hoist the
to
spinnaker, he
overtake
saw
them. So
Pauline
now we have
will
the
luff him up, so
leading
he just
boat
give up. He just give up
with a
anything
penalty.
because
Okay, so now what does
Chris is now
Chris do?
winning.
So he starts to go with what is called this butterfly, so putting the main on one side and the spinnaker on the other side. So that's basically means that he's able just to sail lower. Probably, so definitely speed is not as fast as in the setup that you see on the boat right now in Pauline, but
Severe
it's very
problem on the
possible
boat.
that VMG I think might be actually interesting to connect here. So VMG, let's do the math. So you can see now Pauline sailing
On the wing on
8 knots. Let's go back
severe
and
problem.
see 7, 8, like that. But you can see that VMG between 5.6 and maybe 6. Did you have any VMG
Give up.
metrics
He just
now
give up.
on Chris?
Hoist
Let's see.
will luff him up, so he just give up. Yeah, he just give up. Hoist the
The
spinnaker.
question is that what I'm just
Still
trying now
with the
to
problem
find
with
is
one
that
wing.
how the VMG basically compares, and seeing that in this event, at least Chris was just doing quite a lot of this going with the butterfly, so it means that interesting to see how much of the okay, this is a good thing to compare. So Pauline now is on the left, going with the regular setup. So doing 7.3 knots and 6.3 knots. So a ground and crease is 7.2 speed, and it's actually 7 knots per ground. So he pretty much goes more or less the same speed, but directly to the mark. So let's now compare it once again.
Yes, the final downwind.
Yeah, I think it is. Looking at this chart, actually, I don't know if there was also a different in pressure over here, but this is a good comparison over here. Is
Yeah,
that
even you can see here
uh,
sail on wing.
there is a bed of AMG, and I think in
It
this
is
boat it has been done several times. I think there seems to be a bed of AMG by going this butterfly. So it's not only for the tactical position where you position yourself better at the expense of a little bit losing VMG, but I think the VMG was also pretty good here. That's interesting. So this is something that probably,
yeah.
if anybody actually was sailing on the this
And Chris, Brady jet back
Far East boats,
220
Far East
on the
28, I had only one experience with it, and it
starboard
was
side.
literally non-racing.
So
So it's
Pauline
very
jet back
difficult
because Pauline is on
to
port side.
tell if that was a
See if they can
if
meet.
that was a viable things. But okay, here we have a situation. So we're approaching to the finish line, and then we see Pauline
Very
Courtois is
interesting.
coming
And
with a port,
Chris
and she
is a
must keep
starboard deck,
clear from the
slightly
right of
ahead of
way
Pauline.
starboard boat Chris. And also, I do believe, I think probably the penalty is still there.
Oh, how comes? I mean,
Potentially, yeah, I think.
very
But in
fast
any
back
case, as you can see,
for
Poole has
Chris.
finished early, and
Cross the
that
finish
was
line. He
this
press off
end
Pauline.
of this match. I think that was a really interesting way just to see the
The
in this match
pressure
potentially
taking off.
actually the implication of this
I think really good
um,
pivot to
flying with the
close
butterfly in the
control.
Far East 28 R boats, and then seeing like actually doing pretty good VMG. Yeah,
Yeah,
also a
because
little bit of
the
that play
should
on the top work,
jibe back,
uh,
stay
but um,
close with
but
Chris, right?
that's I think would be it. So we're again
It's
we'll still
comfortable
here
in
in
our wing,
the
but you need to
sunny
a little bit close
but a little bit rainy Normandy
when
here. Very
you are
picturesque
leading.
here in between two events in the Bedan and Bedan's between the Bedan's Cup and
Yeah, so this is
Viking
the
Cup.
finish of match.
These are also quite nice
Flight
French events
two.
for the really high level match racing, and you get also a good international sailors coming as the ones that we actually saw now here, Pauline and Chris. They're often there. So let's see the other matches that we have here. Interesting to see. So Gavin, Brady, and Mesnil on the day four. That was actually something that we might also will continue to watch. So I believe that one from the semi-finals. Um, and yeah, let's get to it.
Yellow flag. All
Okay,
boats entering
there
dive,
we
dive up mode.
go.
Slightly behind, slightly at. Okay.
Okay, this is the
Behind, slightly at windward side of the slide dive up mode. So very low flag. Between Gavin and Maxime. So they
okay.
just
Moving to the next one.
start
Um,
start
so here we
movement
have
Maxime
the
just
the
on
graphics on the top
starboard
is actually
yellow
incorrect. So
flag.
it's not Poole
All
versus
boats
Courtois. On the
entering the
left, you
dive
have
mode,
Gavin
dive up
Brady,
mode.
the
Very good
really famous
position.
American
Maxime
skipper and
also
actually a really
slightly
avid match racer. On the right, we have
behind,
Maxime,
slightly at windward side of
also
Gavin's
great.
boat.
Great match race sailor from France. He just won yesterday here the Viking Cup and is also participating here in the next grade for Bedan's Cup. There we go. I believe now we are already after dial-up, so it's there is no graphic, but it must be something like 3 minutes something after dial-up. Two boats are now starting backwards. So basically, as we have over here, is the after the dial-up. Here is the port boat, which would be Gavin Brady. Here is would be Max Mesnil on this side. Let me show it in a bit bigger screen. So after the gating, um, usually there is a dial-up where the port boat actually where the port boat tacks and becomes a leeward boat, usually start right away, and this boat is need to keep clear. And obviously, the task of this boat is to get one way or another on this side to be able to have a good start, runway and start on the starboard. But there is a boat on the way. So you need to get around this boat one way or another. So you need to either sail in front and tack and get there without being blocked or being attacked with a starboard boat. Either you need to jibe and cross there and be making sure that you're not attacked by the starboard boat over here. You could also try to back and see if any of this opening will be, if there will be, this boat will be a bit slow and you will have possibility to go there. Obviously, the windward boat will try to reverse also. But at the same time, another option is just to create the situation when this boat is about not to keep clear and they will just decide to bail out. And then you can follow and see what's the game. All right, that's exactly what probably happens over here. As you can see, Max is just
Yeah,
tacking
but that time
to
Maxime
port
need to take care.
and
So
Gavin
he
is
take
following.
Maxime first, then take away, leading to the the right side of the starting area. And Gavin is in a slightly
Now they're both going to the
underneath,
playground. There's
and
probably
he's
like 2 minutes
trying
and something
to
to the start,
Maxime
so there is quite a lot of
wait for the
time
lead
that
boat
needs to be,
give a control on
used and
the leading
spent.
boat.
So at certain point, the boat which is ahead, the green boat, will initiate turning, and what they want to do is they don't want to go really, really too far from the starting line because it's very difficult then to judge when to turn back. So what
Yeah,
likely they're going to
so
do
if you're
is that they're gonna try to
you're
jibe
sitting on the
soon
port of the
to
rigging,
initiate
just use jibe
the
to give you the
circling.
speed.
Another
Because
option is that
during the
sometimes
second
they
stage,
will do the tack,
restart,
but in this
all
case, the
about
jibe would
speed,
be
fast
preferable.
speed.
They are jibing, and the boat, Gavin is just already
Both boats
deciding
jibe.
that they can, even though that there is some
And
time to kill before the start, that he is confident
Gavin
of
initially
basically able to
tackle his
kill that time
gear, so he jibe
and be
simultaneously.
able to sail a longer distance and start on the preferred leeward side. It's light wind right now, so I think it's very possible that the boat wants to start on the leeward side. But in
He will try to get
what
hooked
now Max is
with
doing,
Gavin.
the one in the with the green bow, is trying to hook or threaten that they're going to hook the other boat
So you can see it's
by
a hard teamwork.
trying to position themselves on
Gavin
the
is
leeward
in one
side
side.
and
Now it's overlap.
trying to
Yeah, you said
create the
come on,
situation when
take
the other
control. I thought
boat
Maxime
is
is
overlapped
that
and
means
needs
the
to keep
leeward
clear,
boat
and they
give
will
a big
possibly
push
be
on the
tacked.
windward boat.
They will have to
Maxime
tack.
to left up,
Now
so
we
keep
have 50
clear from
seconds
leeward
before the
boat.
start. Gavin Brady
Leeward
is
boat cannot
ahead, but
respond
he
in time.
still needs
It
to
might be
kill
a
some
penalty
time.
to him.
Now Max really understands that there is maybe he initiates an extra play over there, so he tacks there and back. But in a way, now they got the separation over here. It looks like in this case they don't engage now anymore. So they're happy with their start. Oh, okay, no, I was wrong. I think Max will engage, so he's gonna actually try to
So
lead
there's
bow.
another port
He's gonna
downhole need
come
to
over here,
okay.
come
Maxime
a
tack.
closer uh, to Gavin. Gavin there protest.
It should be
I
okay.
did not see the
Should be
Yankee flag,
okay.
but at least there was a big showing. That was a green
So
flag,
this
as you
is a
can
good
see from the
start
boat behind.
from
So
Gavin.
I think there was a
He
protest
sailed
if
on the right side of
Max was
his
able
opponent
to
and with better angle and speed
jibe,
and
so attack in time. So overall, what happened over here that Max on in this boat was uh, sorry, Gavin went over here to get the kind of like a windward start and also have possibility to kill the time before the start, and Max had an option to start over here, but also he decided to engage the other boat early and try to libow them, meaning that coming over here, attacking very close to Gavin and being able to start throwing the bad wind to the boat over here, forcing them to tack away. However, did not work out perfectly. So as the attack was complete, Gavin came with a really good speed that he got on the beam reach over here and then was able to roll now Max.
Tight cover on the opponent. So well done, Gavin. And Maxime
So
changed
Max is
Max
early now
slowly
engaging
followed by Gavin
into
also.
some attacking
Position
duel,
of tight
trying
cover.
to
Oh,
get
Gavin
into the
is
position where he would be able to sail
maintaining at the same time.
clear winds, and or having a better
So
possibility
this
to
is
sail a
white
better shift.
four, race number 3. So Mesnil is leading with 2 wins. If he win this one, then that
I think
means
maybe Maxime is not leading. Maxime is yes controlled by because it's a fake tacking. You can see Maxime just give the signal. He's pretend he will make attack, but Gavin
Yeah, there was a bit of a fake
quite
tacking
accurate.
against there,
yeah,
but yeah, I
every
think
shot.
Max
Just
is now
follow.
just trying
Yes, lovely.
So that
uh,
is really
to get out of the
important for
control. So
Gavin
that's why they're
because
just trying
if
to have
Mesnil can
a
win
better
both
attack,
race,
out-attack
he
the
can
other
promote to
team.
the
So
semi-finals.
Yes, great pressure on Gavin,
as
but
as
now
long
he is a
as
good
they get
controlling
into
position.
some clear
They're like
wind,
on fire.
I think it is not necessarily maybe to engage in the full-on tacking duel on the upwind,
Mesnil
on the
go
first
again.
upwind, if you are able, if you think
Mesnil
that,
go again.
unless you think that you're significantly better than the other team,
Yeah.
It's really
basically I
difficult
think there is a
due to
good
the tight
tactics
cover.
is
You
to
need to fully
use those
control on them.
tacks strategically for finding the
Seems
better
like they
shifts.
will do this on the
So
upwind.
basically the
Yeah, the
trailing boat
tack
would
two.
try to tack on the best shift that they have. You can also even see sometimes shift from the
So
boat which is
upgrading
ahead of
to
you a little
the
bit.
top
You can
mat.
actually see that, for example, in this case,
Brady
if
is
Gavin
still
would be
leading.
Gavin Brady would be a little bit headed, you know that probably that header is going to hit you, so you're already prepared to
So
throw
this is
attack,
another match
and you
between
would have
Chris and
already Gavin
Pauline.
trying to
Chris
protect
is
you.
leading.
Going to the left side
It's
would
downwind.
actually
It's a
continue
downwind
still
match.
going on the header, but you would try to hit the shift. Usually this works much better in lake sailing or in the places where
Yes,
you have a lot of
even
this
center speed
small shifts.
is
You can have a
with
boat
slow
at
clear wind.
astern getting grounds.
Speed is
I think
faster than
actually I
Maxime.
have watched. I think there is one video that I probably will try to put it also on. Either on as the video we can watch it also at certain point and discuss when there is a two teams which were sailing, I believe, in the spring cup in Helsinki in
It's
Finland,
pretty close,
and
no?
the team,
The right
I
side of
believe the team behind there was
Maxime will sail.
Lucas Karlma's team, who actually was
Because Gavin
winning
was,
even
Confident?
he's confident he has the
several
lead.
or of the
Then Gavin
sailing league
lose
events in Europe.
till
So
all the
yeah,
way to
very good example of
the bottom
basically
race.
uh,
Diving is a little bit tricky
finding the
here because
right
the wind
time
is
to tack.
really
So when you
fast.
get a really
So
shift
upgrading
that is
something
actually
red
can get you
come
in
out.
advantage, and you can be very observant, including looking at the other boat when you can tack. Um, but yeah, if the conditions permit. Having said that one, back here to the Normandy ad hoc studio, and where we are watching this, we're watching the World Match Race Tour, the Macao Cup. Uh,
So even now,
both boats now, as you can see, start to approach
Gavin
the
is getting sail flat and
windward mark that they need to
it's
round
about
to
50,
starboard. What
50
is
knots
happening usually
because of
in the
tacking
match
from the
race,
wind.
different in the
Because of
fleet race.
wind, so
So
even
in fleet
100
race, you
knots
usually go
is flapping
this way
sometimes. So
around
Gavin
around
tacking
the mark,
onto next
go
race
this way. But in match
because
race,
of
we
wind.
go rounding to the starboard.
So one more tag will be to the top mark.
There we go. Um, Gavin is on the ley line. Max is behind, throwing the. Gavin is also probably throwing some turbulent wind to Max. Probably not that much, I think, considering the distance. But let's see what's going to happen now here. It is significant distance between them. So let's see what the trailing boat has in the attack.
You can see there's different procedure on Gavin's boat. They send two-person to the foredeck while they have big trouble. So yeah, they need to
A
either
little
try
bit
and
of a
okay, and then
hourglass,
hoist it up.
which definitely not fast.
Very strong
Um,
wind.
losing some
See, they
speed
can
over
react
here.
so quickly.
As you can see, also was this uh, after the rounding, Max was just looking in the back where the wind is coming. As the boat behind you will be in the displacement mode boats, you will be able to get the shifts first.
Before they meet Max, before they meet the upwind sailing Chris Poole, he just jibed away.
Um, Pretty uneventful so far, so I'm actually not sure why I made the note that this was an interesting match. So, but there must be something that comes later on. So, yeah, just stay tuned. And I think if you have any questions also
Looks like Maxime the
for
boat
the
speed is
situation
a bit
that you
faster
saw,
than
please
Gavin.
just yeah,
You
let
can
me know.
see the waves, big
Otherwise,
waves.
we are watching the.
Now I
Oh,
think
hold
Gavin
on a
also
second. Yeah, so
needs
we're
to hit
watching
by
again.
the
That's
gust.
Macau Cup. Interesting
Actually,
matches.
Maxime just minimize the gap, right?
Yeah, he did.
If bit more closer, then he can prevent Gavin from doing a jibe.
I think the most important is
As you can
after
see,
the
the
gap
distance now
close enough.
decreasing, and I think we're going to have
After
another
the
case
wind
of the
close
downwind
enough,
gel, which we had quite a lot in this match and in this event.
very
But
And look at
this is also very common for
now
actually
Gavin
for the match
is
racing
lower
with
than
also especially with
Mesnil. So
asymmetric.
that's
So again, the
for the
downwind
upwind.
gel,
The
what it
leading
is,
boat is in the
so
controlling
that the boat
position.
which is
For the
ahead,
inland, the tail boat is in the controlling
so
position.
will be.
so you want to be in.
This is the situation that the boat which is ahead right now, Gavin, will need to jibe. So they're coming over here to the mark. This is Gavin Brady, the boat with a spinnaker which says World Match Racing Tour. Another one over here with Max with a boat which has the spinnaker with a red dragon logo. Yeah, then this boat needs to jibe. This needs to jibe, and when you jibe, you need to also first you need to keep clear in match racing while you're doing the jibe, meaning when the boom is crossing center line until it's fully filled or until you are 90 degrees to the wind. Or the second thing is that you basically after that one you will become sport boat. So this boat has a lot of power in this situation.
The front as well.
Yeah, cause you will be hit by the gust early than the leading boat.
Gavin try to come a bit lower angle,
Well,
lower
well,
angle,
there's
and
a
There's a lot of shouting. There's
whoa,
a
there's a
lot of
contact.
shouting over there.
Oh,
So
there's
what
a
means
contact. And
there is a
he has
contact
smashed
with the
right
spinnaker.
front tip off
As you can see, there is
the
a
Max's boat.
bright yellow and
He has smashed it. You
red
can see the
flag that
penalized
was displayed over
penalized
here.
okay.
And
yeah, let's see the power
let's
boat.
see what is the umpire
Okay.
call. So look pretty sketchy on the
Running the
yeah, looks pretty sketchy on the boat with the lurid. And then if
heavy.
you can see over here, there is a blue and red flag. So let's actually go through this, what happened and why there is a, and it ended up in this situation. So two boats now are coming over over here. Let me see if I can get this. Two boats coming to the mark. Um, Gavin is in the boat ahead, trying to soak and go lower and be able to get in the zone first. And whereas then he would have possibility to actually sail his proper course. Will be a right of will become also after the jibe right away. But even in this situation, even though that this boat is a port boat, it, considering that's what is the mark room in match race, they will be it's the room to sail proper course that they will be able to have a really nice, good, fast rounding around the mark. However, before they get to the zone, if they are far away from the zone, then the normal rules apply. Then be after jibing, and here, just to say, the wind is coming here from the top. This boat, when they jibe to port, they need to first keep clear while jibing, but then at the same time they become port, they need to keep clear. So, excuse me. So in this situation, it was clearly that this boat broke the rule. It was either 13.2 in the match racing while jibing, or become rule 10, which means that this is a port starboard rule. But at the same time, why it is red? So in this situation, what we usually, as an umpire boat, will make a kind of thinking and analysis. So we definitely think that this boat broke the rule. So would penalize this boat. But at the same time, I think there will be also consideration. Was the breaking of the rule, for example, intentional, right? There is a number of other criteria, but one of it would be is that you definitely know that you cannot you cannot cross, but then you go for it and anyway barge yourself in. Then you actually get one penalty for breaking the rule, another penalty for actually doing it deliberately. So you actually do it knowing that you are breaking the rule. You actually get one more penalty for basically sportsmanship. So that you need to, if you deliberately breaking the rule, it's not a fair play. However, if umpires think that there is a they don't think it was deliberate. They think that there was a chance and there was actually benefit of a doubt that they might think that they are still in the zone and they can able to jibe. Then they're not going to actually go and give another penalty because if there was a chance. But here we want to restore the control because in this situation, if there is no rules were broken, then in this situation, before coming into the zone, the boat which was on astern would actually be in control and would be able to jibe or at least go over here and be able to get to the mark first. So if no rules would be broken, then it would be a good situation that Max would be over here and Gavin would be over here. But they end up rounding like that when Gavin is ahead. So it means that there was a change in control. Now this boat, which is ahead, is in control. So in this case, it's a red flag penalty, which means that Gavin, please take your penalty immediately. So which means that after they take the penalty, Gavin will become behind and the justice is restored, sort to say. So basically you put them without uh, you put them in the position where they need to be, and having accepted these things that yes, we do understand that you might have had understanding that that's not a that you had a chance to cross and this was not a deliberate. Yeah, basically that's the thinking. That's an
Oh,
explanation
So
of
that
what is the
so
red
looking
flag
at wings,
penalty over
a
here.
red flag. So that means Gavin need to do
So
a exonerate turn.
Gavin over
What's
here, as you can see,
he
he needs to get
should
out of the
he
zone. His penalty
uh,
would be is to do the
exonerate
jibe
turn
now
twice?
in the
He
penalty
sailing
mode
on the upper
and
deck,
then going until
so
the close
exonerate turn
hold,
with
and
jibe.
now the penalty is off.
Wow, which is
And yeah,
not good
that's
for Gavin. So
basically
this is the
getting
frustrating
back
race for Gavin.
both on the
Now he
training position.
still has a one outstanding penalty.
I think overall,
I think
probably the reason of success was over here that it seems to be that there was
Yeah,
just
as you can see,
a
all
boat
boat speeds.
that
So downwind you
Max
cannot
had, even though
initially
that he started with a
Gavin you
several,
have
I think two,
you
three
have
boat
at
lengths
least
behind.
3 to 4 boat
He was
length
able
lead,
to sail the
but
boats
he was
a
catching up
little bit
by
faster, a little
Maxime,
bit better, a little bit
and
lower,
with
and was
even
able just
very
to catch
close
up
to less
with,
than half boat
so
length.
sailed
So that's why
better VMG,
Gavin
so was able
cannot
to catch
make
up
a
with
jibe. So
Gavin,
during the
get
jibe,
just a bit of the
the
controlling
the
position,
boat
which
behind
means
him,
that then that
the
a little bit
lobster
of
just
controlling
touch
position
his,
turned out
I think
to
it's the
a lead around
top
the mark.
half
And then
of
once you go around the mark,
stern.
you basically convert your
Yeah,
So
control,
that
Gavin,
small
Gavin
controlling
is very
position with a
difficult to
small
catch up
like
because
overlap,
he looks
just getting
different
to
as
a solid
he
lead.
finished
And in this case,
his work.
Gavin trying
because
to
it's very hard for him to do this.
basically retain his
And then
lead
looks
without
like
having a
Courtois is
controlling
leading
position led to
because he
him
was
having a penalty,
fully
which
controlled by
potentially
Mesnil.
even
He's
added
really in a
a,
tight cup,
maybe
but he
one or
still
two
wins one
extra boat lengths
outstanding
because
penalty.
they need to spin. So instead of actually being right behind the trailing boat, they probably got one, maybe one
Yes.
more extra boat length. Possibly again the upwind over here, even though that it's very interesting and
So
very
now
tactical
we
for
are
sailors.
discussing the
Usually
mistake
in this
about
situation,
Pauline.
is
Um,
very
Gavin
often
is looking at Mesnil, but this time Mesnil
that
is not looking at Gavin.
if there is a big
He
distance, that it
is
might not
keep
happen
covering for the
immediately.
whole
Yeah,
And
time.
I think that's what
that's quite
basically the
normal
boats are doing. They're
in
just trying to get each one of
matches
them is trying to
for
get any
professional sailor.
opportunity where to
They all
gain
know
back.
what will
You
be
either
your
do your
length,
tacks a
what
little
is
bit
your
better, or you
strategy.
do it at the
Yeah,
correct
like
time
one
when you
mistake
get
They
the
you try
first
to
shift.
tack, then it's
Um,
all about boat handling.
or
So
yeah,
when the
or
boat is getting
sometimes
slow,
you try to wear
then
out with attacks
you
the other
just
team,
focus
hopefully
on
that
right
not
upwind.
without wearing out your own team.
And if your teamwork is better than your opponent, so you just try to do
Okay,
as
approaching
many tack
the
as
windward
possible.
mark.
So
I
each
think the
tack you will win maybe 5%.
what Gavin is doing, of course, on the back is just basically trying to make sure that he is
Good
close to the
upwind.
other
Yes,
boat,
they
if not overtake on the
tack
upwind,
too.
but at least trying to be so close, trying to get into the attacking position on the downwind. It does look that the distance is becoming closer. So here we have really tack to the port in front, and the really distance has decreased. Now it becomes quite interesting. So there is a possibility for Gavin
So that
is
means
to get the
Gavin,
I
attack
can't believe it.
yeah, because
as long as
I
he
think
keeps
tack is
that
allowed.
distance until the mark.
It's all
So
about
Gavin again tacks to the
yes, the
port,
teamwork.
trying
Doing a
to
nice
get
rotate
the
with
control.
the
He's not
right.
able to Libao definitely, but Max wants to
But
protect
it's
the right,
still
so he's tacking
controlled
and
by
becomes
Maxime.
the boat right away ahead boat. But
Because both
this
of them
way,
are
it tries to
below
make
the
sure,
port
because he
area,
throws the backwind to the other
so
boat, he tries
they
to
can
make sure
they
that
can easily handle.
he retains the right. We can just a little bit look through this situation now. Um, I will maybe now opposite just try to use it the same way what you have. Maybe I'll use the standard one. So the wind is coming from the top, and then the two boats are doing the attacking. And obviously now we see that Gavin was with his tacks was getting more and more um, closer. And then we see that instead, even as a starboard boat, instead of just crossing calmly on the starboard and continuing, uh, Max doesn't want to give away the control of the right side. He doesn't want just to cross and use that his starboard advantage and then tack, because it might be that later on Gavin will come from the right side as a starboard advantage. So what he does here, he tacks in front, even though that he tacks to port, but he positions himself to be able to throw the bad and turbulent wind to Gavin here and make him tack away. This way, there is this there's this fight basically for having a better position to stay on the right, even though that it seems to be for one reason or another Gavin was gaining on the left. I think since we're already so close to the mark, it's very most likely that Max just wants to get the strong right position for the starboard. There we go. Let's watch
So
what
Gavin
happens next. Two boats are close. I think
yes,
Max was still potentially pointing outside the zone. Okay, there we have the situation which is called dial down. I think that's something worth to review. So as Gavin tags here on port, let's see what would be the actions from Mesnil. So first we'll watch what they do, and then after that one we'll discuss. Here, Gavin dials on port. He goes lower to cross
Oh, that's a
behind,
starboard
and
tack.
Max
Yeah,
is
try
dialing
to,
him down. There is
because
a
Maxime
lot of
just try
shouting, a lot
to
of
use the
Yankees,
starboard tack
and
advantage
what comes out
to
of
give another
here.
penalty. Because in match race, the starboard tack bow.
Before we look at the decision of the penalty, we can also discuss over here. So as Gavin um, gonna go over here. So this is the situation how it started. So now Gavin tacks to port, and since they're so close to the line, he already immediately, actually after the tack, starts to point for the crossing behind. Or I don't know if Max has already started actually to dial him down, but after the tack, you can see he's already easing the main sail and going lower. And Max is at this moment, he wants to make sure that he closes this situation and makes Gavin tack back. But what there is a limit for what Max can do in here in this dial down without breaking here the rule. He can go only to the 90 degrees. And if Gavin in this situation is able to go lower and cross him here, then Gavin gets the right. If for one reason or another, so Max closed this gate and this boat, the way for this boat to escape, if Max closed it earlier, would be is actually to tack. And if this boat is coming over here is not able to keep clear and Max need to avoid, then there is a penalty on this boat. So again, what is important here that the boat is which is dialing down is should actually dial down very effectively to be able to close this opportunity early without losing too much distance to leeward, because if you sometimes dial down, the other boat can just cross ahead of you. Then another thing is that you need to make sure you don't go below 90 degrees. You can get the penalty. And finally, what this boat needs to make sure what escape options possible for you. So if you actually closed over here, then your escape option would be to here. Then you need to make sure that you're still managing to go duck behind that boat and be avoiding. Very intense, very aggressive move. Obviously, as you can see, two boats are going bearing off and going on the beam breach next to each other, like against each other. And yeah, that's always yeah, a fun move. Let's see it once again
And
and see what's the penalties umpires are going to give. Again, for me, it's very difficult. I'm not going to be discussing here on what the penalty is right or wrong. I'm not
oh,
there. I don't
starboard
feel the
tack. Yeah,
wind.
try
It's
to,
very
cause
impossible
because
just to see.
Maxime
So the
just try to use the
umpires
starboard
call is
tack
something that we
advantage
want to
to
maybe
give another penalty. Because in match race,
uh,
the
to
starboard tack
to
bow
watch.
can change his course.
Okay, so you see, as
Yeah,
now
unless
Gavin
below
got
90
the
degrees
right,
from the wind. So
and
still
the question is that
starboard
would he
tack
be
bow
able even
will
to?
have
He
the
probably will
right
be
from the
able
wind.
to even be lifted to the mark. So he's on the ley line. So executed bravely and well.
Also
Max tried to
that leads
defend
to
it, but
Maxime's
for some
gate
reason
overlap.
didn't work out. Okay,
Overlap
this is
and
also an
reverse.
interesting now
So
situation.
yeah, so Maxime need to react because Gavin use the run rule and
Good one. Yeah,
just make another cross
gonna
tack.
be.
If the umpire agree with Gavin,
Let's look back. I think that is also an excellent situation over here. So the starting situation that Gavin is coming just a little bit below the ley line, right? So this just a little bit below, so they need to be able to attack, and they need to tack. They won't be able just to go around the mark. And in this situation, the wind is coming now here from the bottom of the screen. Max is on the really good ley line. He's just can't go over there. But in this
yeah,
situation, when
and
they
also very
enter the
important
zone
to
right about maybe just a bit before the moment, which is over here, Gavin has the mark room, and mark room in match racing means that he's able to tack there and back as long as he's not doing the tacks faster as he would normally do.
Yeah, and also very bad news to
And
Maxime
that's
is
what he does. He just comes over here. He has the right to do two fast, two normal tacks, not super fast, but the normal proper course tacks.
they overlap
And then he just does
they
one
overlap
tack,
and to the zone. So
and then he
yeah, so Maxime
goes for another tack.
need to respond because Gavin
Okay,
have the mark
so
room.
that's a interesting situation. But then let's go back now here. So even though that this boat has the possibility to do this two tacks, that's her way around the mark. There is a limitation for this boat, and the limitation of this boat that 18.3, there's the rule which was introduced actually for the first in America's Cup, if I'm not mistaken, for the fast sailing boat, which basically wanted to prevent this boat going really fast and attacking this boat, and that this boat would have some kind of predictability, knowing that this boat would need to tack. So in this situation, the rule also tells that this boat needs to tack over here, otherwise they will be breaking this rule 18.3 if they start to sail farther from their proper course, meaning that going either further or lower, but in this case they are potentially allegedly going forward. So now tell me what you think. Like, do you think that the blue boats could have done the second tag back to the mark earlier? Did they take more than did they sail further from their proper course or not? We can also even
They
see how
overlap.
it plays out.
Did I now?
Very bad news to Maxime is they overlap
This is the first tag.
overlap and to the zone.
And now the
So
second tag comes here.
yeah, so
Did it
Maxime
came later?
need
One
to
second
respond
later?
because
Three
Gavin
seconds
have
later?
the
Or
mark
no
room
later?
and just
Did
made
they had
another
to how far they are now from the mark? If
Gavin
they
have
start
the
sailing
mark room.
close hold, is there like a bit of a distance over here? So this is the judgment, of course, that the umpires would need to
Yeah,
make
so Maxime
and the sailors need to make on
need to
water.
respond
Bit
because
difficult to say, but
Gavin
that's
have
the
the mark
discussion
room.
that the umpires behind the
Just
boat will
made
be
another
discussing.
protest.
Did
If the
Gavin
umpire agree with
went
Gavin, so there will
further?
be
Then it's
penalty yellow
then
and red, and the
needed.
blue will.
In any case, which is also interesting, the situation that if we go back
Yeah, and also very bad news to Maxime is they overlap
after this stack,
overlap and to the
Maxim is on the port, and then as a port boat, it needs to keep clear from the boat on starboard. And of course, there is these limitations on the starboard over here that normally, if you would not have the mark, that you will have, you need to have possibility for the port boat to keep clear. Rule 15, as soon as you acquire the right of way. But this is a different station. We are next to the mark room, so next to the mark. So the mark room includes those tags, and they will be exonerated. They will be forgiven for breaking that rule. So Max, in that situation, needs to get away from the starboard boat as long as they sailing also. Yeah. So in this case, he needs to get away, and also in that situation, avoid them in any case, or try to avoid them if they're on starboard, which he actually probably does. So at this moment,
the zone.
he
So
starts to avoiding
yeah, so Maxime
and does
need to
pretty much
respond
everything.
because
So now
Gavin
the
have the
question
mark
is,
rule.
did
Just made
Gavin
another
sailed further than
protest.
his proper
If
course
umpire
or
agree
not?
with Gavin, so there
So
will be
that's an interesting situation. And
penalty
also,
on
let's see what
yellow,
the
and the
umpires
yellow and the
decide
blue
over here.
will offset.
So
Difficult to
maybe
imagine that there was no Yankee flags over there.
So
And
yeah,
however, that actually possible that because there's sometimes the situation could be very intense, and then the penalty can go literally. It's all about the centimeters. The penalty can go one way or another. Let me actually see if
yeah,
there is any
and also
if there
very
is any
bad news to
Yankees. I think there
Maxime is
might
they
be. No, that's
overlap and to the zone. So
I don't.
yeah, so Maxime need to respond because Gavin have the mark room and just made another
Yeah,
ground
it looks
step.
actually though Max I think showed Yankee. I didn't see it on Gavin's
Beneficial
boat,
zone. They
Gavin
they
Brady's boat.
overlap into
I
the
don't
zone.
see it here on
So
the blue boat with
yeah,
these
so
things,
Maxime
but
need to respond
uh,
because Gavin have the mark room and just made another
I
ground
don't
step.
know.
If umpire
Again,
agree with
difficult to
Gavin,
see, but again, considering that Max put his flag, it might be has shown, or maybe he has changed his mind and showing, because very often the sailors in this situation, they will actually consider, listen, it might go either way, 50-50, so then they might even not protest, because it's really in this situation can.
so there will be penalty on yellow, and the yellow and the blue will offset.
Oh, okay, yeah, that probably was the case, as they said there was a penalty before. No, no, negative. I don't think there was a penalty. There was a red blue. I don't think there's the commenter said here the right. Maybe I missed something, but I think there was only the red blue penalty, which was basically taken off. So there was no penalty before. So now I think it
Protest.
is.
If umpire agree with Gavin, so there will be penalty on yellow, and the yellow and the
No,
blue
yeah,
will
I think there is
offset.
basically there is no just flag. But anyway, it's interesting to see that Max becomes here lured right away, and he starts to
It's
laugh.
going upwind.
Gavin tries
Very
to
good movement
Gavin
from
tries to avoid,
Maxime. They
and
just
then
pretend to hoist the
basically
spinnaker
avoids
from
by initiating the jibe, but
offset.
there is no room to actually go into the jibe. So I think so now. As you can see, Max is just starting to laugh as a lured right away. He's changing the course and giving room for the other boat to keep clear. And the boat, which is on the windward, which is Gavin over here, needs to choose the right way to keep clear. And that is not to jibe. So if they are able, of course, to jibe really fast and become a starboard, that's also possible. But I think the way this is not the way out of the situation. Way out is to laugh, which actually they start to do and start to laugh. And then I think this would be also kind of like case to consider.
Will offset.
Did the blue boat with a blue bow was able to do everything from now on to keep clear? Did they do everything? And the second case would be is
Offset.
if the blue boat was able to do everything, did the boat with the green gave them room to keep clear as much as they can? And I
Well, it's going
think
upwind.
here looks like a contact, or at least if there is no contact, it's definitely not keep clear because it's very
Uh,
close. I believe it's very, very close to contact. You might see even that the Gavin is just a little bit
so
shaken when there is a
it's
hit.
going upwind.
Look here.
Uh,
Yes, he
very good,
falls there.
very
There's
good
a
movement from
difficult to imagine that there is no
from
contact up there.
Maxime. They just
There we
pretend
go.
to
Let's see
hoist the
what's
spinnaker, and then Gavin
comes
try
out
to hoist
there.
and leave
Still, I
behind
think the
Maxime
second
the
one
spinnaker from
potentially there is no
Maxime.
protest
They just
from
pretend to hoist
Gavin,
a
but
good movement.
was there a protest
Well,
on
it's going upwind. Uh,
Max's boat?
very good movement
Probably.
from
I think maybe my guess would be that
Maxime.
he might be
They
not
just pretend
very
to hoist the spinnaker,
um,
and then
vocal
Gavin
on
just talk to the
protesting,
man,
considering
and
that,
in the
for example,
meantime,
that there was a
Maxime
contact. He
just
knows
give
that
them
it
peace
might
love
end up.
because
Yeah, it
he's
looks
the
like the
leeward
Yankee
boat.
flag is in the same, still in the same place.
Penalty.
Anyway,
So there's
now
no
going
whistle.
back to the match. In any case, Gavin is now ahead, and then right away, and has also possibility to do a jibe to start with. Considering that there is no Yankees on the other boat, no penalties on the umpire's boat, it's either they did not see Yankee, or maybe actually Max did not show the Yankee conspicuously on the mark, maybe trying to again avoid the situation. So as you can see, it could be very intense, but it looks like this did not end up in any penalty. So now Gavin is on the starboard, jibing on the starboard without any issue, is able to complete the jibe. Max is letting him go. Um, and
Okay, so
jibing behind.
we saw that Maxime
We
still
are
have
now
the
on
problem
the
with
leg
the
to the
bowsprit.
downwind, to
So
the
he
sorry,
lost
to the finish. It's
the
down
top.
last downwind.
That means the stack of his spinnaker cannot be uh, put into the normal position, which is really far away from the bow and catch more fresh
All
air.
right.
So the downwind speed
I
is
think I'm
quite
here on
slower than Gavin.
the setup. I will need to plug my camera. So
So now Gavin is leading again. We don't see any flag on the PowerPoint.
Yeah, it looks like no flags at this moment.
yeah, I think
So
it's actually now it doesn't look that there might be any change in the situation. They're almost at the
so
finish,
even
and
with the
Gavin is
full
with a strong
full speed
lead.
is still
Still, I think
more
was a pretty
faster than
interesting match
Gavin. There's
on the
too
top
much distance.
mark.
So
It was got
Gavin will cross the finish line
quite
in front
intense.
of
I think the last top mark rounding was a pretty interesting situation. So if there is any comments on the
Gavin
rules,
even
or what you
dropped
think that if
slightly
Gavin
from the
was
boat.
able
Gavin,
to
Yeah, because
if he sailed a little bit further or less, or if whatever boats you think, in your
so
opinion, deserve the penalty, yeah, let me know. We
let's see
can
what
do
happened in
the
the
discussion
last match between
there.
them because now they are 2-2.
Now, let's get to the final uh, match, which is actually is the day 5 final. I think that was quite. I mean, obviously the final is always good. So we have EJ, Egnot-Johnson, and Ian Williams, two very strong sailors. I think the whole final was quite intense, but I think the final was actually this. The guys just dialed their rate. The intensity to the next level. I think this is just really worth watching them. So gonna go to. If you want to watch them all, it's all in World Match Racing Tour YouTube, and we're gonna go now to final. And what was this? Now gonna go to the last match. So yeah, there we go. I think this is the first one, last one. So you have basically Williams now 5 minutes before the start, as you can see, and Ian Williams already have 2 points, and EJ has the 1 point. I believe the final was probably, I mean, definitely the final was to 3 points, as since it's the last one, and actually, as you know that it's the last one, you know who won it. I think who actually has plus 1 point will get the 3 points. But still, I think it was pretty nice and intense match. Um, let's see if we can just look through these things and try to analyze it with or just comment it through with this fast pace, and maybe then talk through the last, um, if there's any other situations, as always. Okay, yeah, there we go. Actually, now I have the
So
screen.
EJ started building some speed.
So 4 minutes. Both boats are gating. Williams is a blue
Gavin
boat.
on one,
Port, give
incoming.
boat, going, trying to cross to the right side of the course. EJ is on the
Gavin
starboard boat,
speed
trying
on
to prevent
starboard.
Ian from crossing. Now EJ is
Ian noticed that
heading
and
up. Now
also
he's
noticed that.
trying to
So
hold
he
and will luff up
turn.
to get into the controlling
and
position. Even
EJ
though that EJ is probably
is
tacked and
also
his
luffed up.
boom has crossed the center line, it doesn't
So
matter
this
because
means
he's the keep clear boat in
into the
any case.
diagonal
He must keep clear. What he wants to have a significant
and the full
distance
length of the angle.
from Ian, but not too much to allow Ian to
Yeah,
go
so
and do
Ian
the
prepare
kind of turn
inside.
to the right and do the steel balls. Okay, both boats start to reverse.
So EJ have
Um,
pushed the boom
both
out
boats start to reverse. Ian is also
past the
actually
starboard
luffing up,
line to
changing the
reach the
course,
finish. Ian
and
thought that they could
EJ has
accelerate
responded.
and build up the momentum.
Ian is again, he's lured right away, trying to keep the boat in the control. And as you can see, EJ is trying to keep close.
Ian's decide to do a driving
EJ's
there,
astern
very,
boat, he
very
needs to keep clear,
steady
and then trying
Courtois.
to now position himself to
That's right.
prevent Ian
That's right. Correct.
from jibing. Obviously, Ian will not go
Even
for a
though
jibe, as you can
wing
see
on wing,
also
but
on
he's
the
still on
EJ's
starboard tack.
boat.
Oh,
The
still
bow person
keeping
is
one
holding
position.
Yeah, Pauline need to keep
the
clear.
jib in butterfly position. There's
Okay,
Yankee
one
on the
lesson
EJ,
learned.
kind of
Okay,
alleging that
okay.
Ian did not keep clear
Yeah,
That's
in
green
that
flag.
situation as
keep
a
going.
I think there was an overlap right
Because
there or something.
Even
That's what
though
he
cannot
just
keep
jibe.
claims here.
driving there, bearing a
Let's watch
bit,
it once again.
ready for
So
attack.
EJ's
Okay,
a
Ian cannot
stern
jibe because
boat, and
EJ is
then
on
now he
starboard tack.
claims that there
Yeah, and
probably
EJ
was,
even go wing on wing, but he's still on starboard tack.
yeah, that
Oh,
may
to not
probably that he
make
claims
Yeah,
that it would
Pauline
be
need to keep clear.
he would have to take avoiding action, but I think at least from this angle it just didn't look at all like that. So I would not be surprised if
we
it
can
would be
see
green
the
flag.
weather.
There we
Green
go.
flag. Yeah.
There's a green flag.
Keep going.
EJ is now kind of
Please.
lost the control of
Close
Ian,
to
but not
starboard.
fully. So he's not
He
able to
decided
stay on the windward side,
to
but
wait on
he
port,
chooses basically
and I think
to jibe.
EJ
Now he
will
jibes on
come back on
starboard,
starboard
and
tack
then
to
he
another
is
tack.
now changing
So
the course,
EJ
but he needs even
keep
because he
pushing,
changed the
and
starboard so
Ian
long,
need to
he
relax.
needs to give possibility give
Ian
Need
a bit
to
left of
Ian
the point.
possibility to keep clear in
Very
any
slowly keeping
as much as he can. Did not work out. So Ian is now on the
Later, wing cross.
windward boat, needs to avoid, but EJ is kind of like
Still
controlling
consolidate. EJ
and
consolidate,
pushing
working
the
close
Ian to
and
the right,
starboard side
but
of
he now has
Ian.
the possibility to at least get to the right side. Alien. It's 1 minute 25 before the start,
So
so the boats
there's a
don't have
tactical move.
much time, but there's
The
still
first
there is
boat
a
to
they,
run
as you can see,
limit,
they're on the starting line right now, so
go
there
to the
is they have
control.
to kill significant time.
Follow the lead.
So they're approaching the boat, and this is an
Yeah,
obstruction.
that's
So
great.
basically, here's an
And keep it
interesting
close,
play.
keep
If I
it
go a
close.
little bit back,
If
so
EJ go
EJ
underneath,
goes lower, trying to anticipate if William will come from another side and trying to continue hooking him from there or being a lured boat. But
Chooses to stay
immediately
yeah,
now
because that's a
Ian
fake one.
goes and
So
escapes
sharp turn from
from
Ian.
here.
yeah,
Make sure the boat
And
is there.
basically for the EJ, there was not
then
possibility
EJ
to
jibing
get
back
back into the controlling.
onto
That's the only
starboard
way
tack.
he's going to do now is do the
So
jibings.
we
He's
can see
starboard right halfway.
the
He needs
pivot.
to um,
Okay, so
keep
yeah, EJ just keep clear.
Ian in the
Ian
right
can jump
boat
back
needs to keep
to
clear, but basically
starboard tack.
also as
Now,
a
Oh no, so
you need to give
EJ
room
just
for the other boat to keep clear, and then
close,
there
close.
is
So
a
the
if there is a boat uh, if there is a boat over there, you need also to comply that if you need to keep clear, you cannot touch that boat, you cannot touch the mark. So this also included in the room. So as you see, there was a protest probably from a J, and it was
prevent
greened.
Ian
There is
to
another
jump back
protest over
to
here, which
starboard
was
tack.
probably there was a small overlap,
Now white
and
flag from EJ.
EJ was lured boat, which is right away, and there was alleging that Ian did not keep clear. But now there is 20 seconds approaching to start. The two boats
Oh,
are
there is
super.
damage on the
oh
boat.
yeah, it's
This rather
because
got
the
stuck
tiller
in the
was
backstay or
probably
something.
backstay.
So the two boats are really, really close, and
So
they're
Gavin
approaching
was a little
to
bit
start.
late
And it looks like
to
the
Ian.
Williams would be able to get the windward position. He's gonna now push a bit more
Well,
EJ, but now take a big bite to the windward,
so
or
Ian
actually, yeah,
still
even
to
not taking a
tack
big
start
bite. So going over there
and will
and
be
being
covered
able
by
to
EJ.
tack.
So definitely EJ win
A
this
little bit tight,
pre-start.
not able to cross. Now he tacks back, and then he's starboard right away. Needs to
EJ
give room possibility
EJ
for
cross.
EJ
So
to
EJ will
cross, and I think
separate
the only
for
way
cross
for the
and give
EJ
tail
to
to the
avoid in
starboard
that
side.
situation when it's really
So next
so
time
close
EJ
and
will take
tight
the
is
starboard right.
basically to continue. So which
That's
also
good.
sometimes is a valid escape and a
Okay,
valid
EJ.
room to keep clear from another
Oh,
boat is
exciting start.
because once it's so close, if you try to bear as a port boat to bear off or even go in tack, you're probably most likely gonna get into
Oh,
the
looks like a huge lead.
tighter situation. So if this boat
I think Nick just got
tacks
the lead.
on you and
Brilliant.
then this
This is
boat will try to
super
tack
late
away. Most
start
likely there will
from
be a
William
contact.
Pack.
Will try to bear away. It's going to be even worse.
A little bit
So
too
sometimes the
close.
only way, if there is a tack to starboard
Yes, that's
completed so
about
close
4
is
lengths.
just to continue, and that's the best way to escape.
So I think EJ
Okay,
will
this is
get
interesting.
some.
So as we all had the spoiler alert that Ian actually probably is going to win this final race.
I feel like Ian will be
Uh,
going to the right.
since
Maybe.
the race
Yeah,
is to the three
EJ.
points and Ian has
Yeah.
already have two. And
Maybe
Yeah,
he is.
definitely EJ
let's
will
see
get the back.
how he's
But
able, the eight
at this moment,
times
please,
world match race
they
champion,
will
was able to
pressure
overtake
pressure
EJ,
angle.
who is actually leading right now.
Just about both speed.
Yeah. We have seen for a few times the whites always come back after the long late.
As again, like the boats are going on the upwind,
Just a
they
nice
need to
cover
know
from
what
EJ.
what is their tactics is,
The
what
fourth
side they
gear
want to
tack
protect. And as you can
speed.
see that now EJ is protecting
Four tack.
left. Their tactician is clearly
So look like
liking the left side
slightly left
over
tack
here because
wing shift
they
will happen this moment.
uh, led back.
Ian is
They try
already
to
running
win the left side,
with
and
two
they
tack.
keep on tacking to give the bad wind
Yeah.
to the boat
Give
and
it back to the
protecting.
whites
So
again.
here you see that the boat, which is
So definitely
in
we
the
need to
previous
secure
cross, that
center.
EJ, who was
Yeah,
board
yeah.
boat,
Now he do it.
tacked in front to give the bad wind to the
Okay.
The front
Ian
view, yeah,
Across.
tack will
and let
happen again.
Ian tack away to the right
So
side.
just try
So
to
which is very
use
different from the
each
previous
tack.
match when we
Oh,
actually
the
saw
long
that
late is
there was a strong fight to protect the right. So it looks like now that EJ lost in this case, and the only way
Just
he has to
after
do is
two
basically
tacks,
to
like
cross
halfway he's
behind.
ready to. Oh,
And as he
lovely.
crosses behind,
EJ will tack and
Ian
EJ
seems to be
also tack.
liking the right, so he
Wow,
gets
it's
and
close.
gets back to the right, and
So Ian still want the starboard side.
he wants in this
But I think it's
situation
a little bit sketchy to tap
he wants
there.
Yeah,
to
just
It's
let
not perfect
yeah,
for
just the
him.
wing
EJ
shift.
Yeah.
go back to the
So
left,
initially
as he seems to be
EJ
really
got
liking the right.
something at least 3 boat lengths lead.
That was
At
also a
least.
kind of a situation that you
He
see over
also catch
here,
two
even
two
though
tacks
that
up. Wow.
So Ian
It
catch up a
EJ is
lot.
crossing and
just
going to the right
after
side.
two tacks.
Like half
Instead
half.
of Ian, instead of going to the continuing to the side, he likes the right side. He covers EJ. Then there is only way for EJ is to escape, not to be covered. And then again, each one of them, or Ian gets the right that he wants.
Already can.
Now, anyway, he's
Ian
attacking
tacks
and
and
board give,
EJ
but
also
his
tacks.
only way is here to
Wow,
continue.
it's close.
That's exactly what we discussed before.
So Ian still want the starboard side.
But I think it's a little bit sketchy to tap there.
Yeah, just
Why
a
not
wing shift. I
earlier
think
or
just the wing shift.
yeah.
Initially, EJ got something at least 3 boat lengths lead. Now it's a big split.
When there is a big split, there is always a kind of like a big bet on the side. So each of the
Yeah, so
boats
they split.
then not
Just
playing
look
each
like
other, but so
wind is
you actually go all
slightly
in on
slowly
one side and you try
shifting.
to get the maximum from what your tactician tells you.
A bit more. So this will favor
Obviously,
Ian.
for Ian who goes to the right side, he knows he's gonna also get the even in the cross starboard advantage. But
Oh,
there is
So
also for
it's
EJ
the
often
lead.
there is no
The
possibility
second
or
top
no gain in
leg
actually trying to
caught by the backstay.
follow Ian, but just trying to see those lift, which is actually I think there is a. It looked that there was a bit of a lift
there's
maybe on
backstay
the left side.
cost.
I
Oh,
think,
backstay
yeah,
possible one.
Definitely
considering that EJ
he's
previously
initially
crossed
this time
behind, I think there is a good
EJ
possibility to
took
do
the
a
lead.
Libao,
Yeah.
although that I'm not,
However,
yeah,
EJ is
But
on
I
the
don't think
cross.
EJ can cross.
yeah. So there's a
So it's
Libao
a lead bow.
and laughing,
So
and
just
then
Either
here.
Ian
completing
can
the
go
tag
with
just right behind and
playing with center.
a bit louvered, sorry, and yellow boat, which is also having a yellow bow, easy to
Affected
see,
by
is now trying to
EJ
sail
cross.
higher and
EJ
throw the bad
still
wind to
slightly a bow
Ian.
ahead.
So they're
Wow.
So
also
EJ try to
laughing,
luff up,
making sure that
to tack away.
also at the same time giving room for Ian to keep clear. Ian tries to stay as long as possible, but realizes that
But next
now
time
he will
Ian
not be
come
able
back
to do it
into the zone,
because
he will
EJ
double.
put a little bit of bow forward. Now they just escape,
Still not
gonna
so bad.
do the
So look
tacks,
like
a
Mesnil
couple of
into
tacks,
the two bowling zone
and get
early.
their right side.
So he has the right of
Now we
aiming.
have exactly the
So
same
now
situation. Ian has the is right of way, has also the mark room, but he is limited in his ability to sail further, so he has to tack at his proper course, not
Gonna do
farther from the
double
proper
tap.
course. That's why he
very
tacks.
close
That's
here.
why he is not attacking the
So he has the mark.
EJ. So EJ is now actually having a bit better speed,
Fairway,
and
go
what
for
he
birdie.
uses is speed. As soon as they're crossed the bow, he puts
So
his
Ian
bow
got a bit
deeper. He
higher
wants to go
for
lower
not
to
crossing by
hook
EJ.
Ian, now extending
Okay,
his
Maxime
bowsprit
was
and then
overlapped
creating
by
an overlap.
EJ.
There is also
They
a Yankee from the boat in front, possibly actually alleging that they did
see
not
what
give them room while extending the bowsprit, didn't give them room
Yes,
to keep
EJ.
clear.
Yeah, green
I
flag again.
believe there is a, yeah, there was a green flag as it came down. And anyway, so Ian is leading very slimly, just slimly, but
basically
they're
EJ
just
just try
right.
to
They're just
overlap
a bit
and miss
ahead.
Ian so
And of
that
course, that one
he will
is right
because
of
very
way.
close.
But EJ
Not overlapped yet,
is
but
very, very close. And
very close.
what is most essential is in controlling
Yeah,
position because he's
I can see
potentially
the
preventing
picture.
Ian in the boat ahead with
So
a blue
in this scenario
Zapri
like this,
spinnaker, preventing them from jibing. And
can Ian
and
jibe
just they're
overlap
like
simultaneously and right on top of
Still
Ian.
blocking.
Yeah.
trying to. I think it's actually interesting. I wonder if there is even
Okay, Ian go
a
for jibe.
slow wind. Oh,
So
but basically, yeah, I
basically
think
EJ
there was a little bit of
in this
possibility to create an
round is
overlap, and
back side,
not overlap,
EJ
but
side.
distance. But then Ian was able to throw a jibe, but EJ immediately responded.
A little
What
bit
he wants
slow.
to do is to do a Simo
Still in
jibe.
a
He was able
controlling
actually
position.
to roll. However, now Ian is in the is a leeward boat right of way, so gonna if they're
Setup
able
is on the
to
windward side.
luff and reach
Yeah, you can
EJ,
see Ian
then EJ would need
hiding
to
the
keep
ball
clear.
a little bit.
However, as you see, there is a big distance between the boat. Even if the boat now on the left will try to luff the other boat, most likely EJ will be able just to go faster and
Okay,
cross
now EJ
ahead.
is touching Ian's
EJ is
green.
trying to soak and go lower and lower, but at the same time, as you see
EJ
their
may have to
overlap, he
luff
needs
up.
to keep clear
Yeah,
and
I can see
avoid
the
any
green
contact. But he
flag.
Yeah,
knows
but
his
EJ
speed is better,
has a
so
low speed.
he's able to now to
Just a
soon almost breaking overlap, but not yet, as you can
Yeah,
see in the screen.
this wind speed is
Just
not
and
bad.
just
It's
being
still
overlapped.
clear.
So Ian is
but
basically trying to make
Ian
sure that
can still
he's
hold the course
proving the
and
point,
prevent
and
EJ
EJ's
from
starting to be patient there,
jibing.
hoping that EJ may be not able to cross, but he gets EJ with a little bit of extra puff that is maybe coming here. He gets a really good speed and trying now to go lower and faster. And again, we're getting back into that downwind
That's
jail
overlap.
situation.
Yes,
So
here.
even though that
So
EJ is
Ian has
ahead,
to keep clear.
now
Now it's the
they
overlap
need
is
to
frozen,
jibe and turn left and go to the mark. But
but EJ still cannot jibe.
EJ cannot do that. He will break the rule first for
EJ just missed
jibing rule
because Ian was
13.2,
pushing
and
all the
after
way
that one he will be a
further
port boat, will break
to
the rule
the
10. Now they're
further
approaching
outside the ley line,
to ley
and
line.
even
That's the place where
below
usually
the
in the
main mark.
fleet
So
race,
they look
if
like
the boats are
Ian is
overlap,
playing lower.
the blow with the blue spinnaker will have
But they still
to
cannot
jibe and
jibe.
go to the mark, but not in
If they
match race.
cannot
And in
jibe,
match race, you
then it is
basically
fully
can
controlled by Ian.
make the other
They will
boat
sail
real life
further
really
and
miserable.
further
You will be able
and
just to
kill.
take them all the way down there. And even though that this green line
Yeah,
showed the
yeah, it's
fastest way to
overlap.
go to the
Yeah,
mark, to the gate, you cannot do
yeah,
it.
it's overlap.
Now, two boats are going there. This is exactly a downwind jail.
Oh,
Uh,
there's a contact.
there's
So there's a
probably that
contact. The
little
bowsprit might touch the
move
okay.
from,
It's
as
white
you can
flag.
see over here, if we
It's
go
overlap.
back.
Yeah, yeah, it's a good overlap.
Now, even if there is a tiny overlap, I think there might be a tiny overlap between the Williams, and as EJ is laughing and changing,
Well,
Ian wants to say that, okay, now EJ is not keeping clear, that there is a problem. At
oh,
the same time,
there's a contact.
he
Looks like
jibes
there's a
back.
contact. The
So with
bowsprit
this
can touch
move,
the
Ian,
okay. Yeah, so it's
so
white flag from
EJ kind
Ian.
of forced Williams to take an avoiding action and
Oh, there's a long whistle.
go back.
So
I think
it's still a green
umpires
flag.
actually green this, which means that
Green flag.
EJ was
Well,
kind of
no,
effective
Ian won the
in
first one.
Yes.
getting out of or actually forcing the action on Ian, so not waiting until Ian decides it, but at the same time, still EJ is back. He's astern, and that's why I say that the tiny bit of controlling position in the downwind jail turns into a lead. But this case, there was no penalty, so you can see compared to the previous match that we watched with Gavin, Brady, and
This
Max.
has to
So
be
in this case,
EJ.
EJ is just was one boat length behind,
I
and
think what is the extra
yeah,
penalty
not
at the moment?
um, didn't lose that much.
Well,
He's still in the
I
game,
also
still
think
fighting.
right hand side actually is better.
But definitely will be
Whoa,
Okay,
covered by Ian.
yeah.
this is the third leg now. So second upwind. Uh, yeah, just the same story. Uh, trying to figure out where is the good side, where you get the pressure,
So I
and
guess
where is the
Ian
best
just
shift, and keep on
only
sailing.
cover on EJ
So
leg.
as you can see that Ian is having
So you can see the
a kind of like an open cover over here. I think he's just trying to stay
he's
between the other boat and the
protecting from
mark.
backhand
Uh,
by the
and
backstay.
Yeah.
right, yeah. And I
So
think
just
again,
for the
EJ is
experience
sailing
sake,
in the clear wind. Obviously, I
we
think it
just need
was,
to make sure
but
that he's
uh,
getting like better.
difficult to see honestly from the graphic. That's
Very
where we get the
simple.
limit
Either
if it
give
was
a
clear wind or not.
tight
But
cover or loose cover. Basically just matching.
yeah, I think the commenters I could hear then they was talking about also loose cover, and yeah, that's basically where you. I think just Ian wants to maybe not to risk too much with
The last
doing a
open.
split. He wants to make sure that he's staying close to the boat and controlling. So it's difficult to imagine that Ian will not attack right now. And obviously, yes, he will actually
He
attack,
just give a tight cover,
especially
attack
I
right and
think on
forth.
the second downwind, trying to
Or
prevent or
EJ
protect also the right side.
directly sailing the dirty weed given by Ian. So he must attack
There is
immediately.
nothing else for EJ now to do is to try to find those opportunities to where to get a small advantage. And there's where the tactician could be just looking for good shifts and telling when to tack, because basically, as you can see, they're a little bit extended, but then would you extend like two 200 meters, or will you extend like 50 meters? I think that
Similar
depends
position.
also on
EJ
where
just
do you
push
want to
this
get
cover all the
and
way to the
where
leeward
what
bow.
kind of
So Ian feel free to
opportunities of
do
the
the
shift, how
line
small
work.
shift you will be happy with.
But with lots of main sheet tension. So because it's flat water here and medium breeze, so you can really sail in a high mode
All right,
very
and
smoothly.
so coming up now to the almost last leg of the final, and as you can see, in having quite noticeable lead. So I think this key. Oh, there's a now is a nice puff. So I think it seemed to be was quite puffy over here in on this last day. Um, okay, what do we have over here? So I think EJ is now on the ley line. He's going to be coming to
Yes,
the
EJ
mark
will
as a starboard
EJ
boat.
will sail all the way to the
However,
ley
as a
line
port boat,
with
Ian would
comfortable
have a
lead.
very comfortable cross. And there is, even though that EJ is a right of way and has a mark room, I think it's almost impossible for him to. I mean, definitely it's impossible for him to reach now, Ian. But I think
Well,
it would be
as you can
also
see, Ian said the
almost
very
impossible to
best
get in the very
because he felt the
good and
tight
strong
from the
controlling
port side
position for the downwind.
during the last
And as we discussed for the
downwind leg,
downwind, you need
downwind mark crossing.
to be quite close
So they have the
to the.
setup of the jib sheet.
Ooh, there is some issue there. Always an
So
opportunity.
it's
I
very
think if
hard,
there is some technical
difficult
problem,
position to
the
hold the
jib
jib
now
down.
came down, so I don't think there was a really that dramatic problem. Ian jibed. Was there
Okay, and then you can see John also eased the outhole.
possibly
Yeah, this is the last downwind leg, so
Yeah, and
they don't
it
need to
could be a
spend
left
this
shift or something.
extra leg
So again,
supporting more. So they ease the outhole.
unless you have a really good graphic which shows you also the shifts and or you're in water, then you can feel and a little bit difficult, of course, to see in this water. It's not that
Swing
puffy.
bends a little bit.
EJ
The
goes for a
elevation downwind leg
little
favored.
little split, but at the same time, I think probably also understanding that there is a really big disadvantage maybe to
Wow, small
back
gap,
the
120 meters.
the corner and then go all the way there. So trying to stay a little bit more closer in the pressure and then trying to find the distance is 120 meters. It's way too far, for example, for have any effective coverage over here. So it basically really looks like the in here Ian Williams, who is the eight-time world champion in the match racing, is actually going to
It's very hard to
get
EJ
also
this
this
moment.
Macau race, which
There's
is
not too much
pretty much also had a lineup
restriction
which
there.
is very similar to
There's
the
also
final final,
late
and
dive
it
from
was having the
back.
world rating.
And
So
the
match
late
racing
back
has different rating of the events from 5
so
to
he
1
is
and then to
on the
W.
opposite tail line.
Obviously, the higher number, the smaller the number, the
Watch how
better
this
points you get,
exits.
and the higher, and then there's a high event, and the highest one is W. Okay, but basically that's I think in this situation very difficult to imagine something would happen. I
So
think you can see already,
I think
even
Ian
though
Williams and then
the
his
wind
crew
is light, the
is
boat is
sailing
not
to his
fully
first win
relaxed, but I
in
think they
2025 World
also already
Masters
know that
Tour.
there is very
I
very
think
little
they
can
are
happen,
in
but still playing until the until the
And the
last moment. Um,
30,000
yeah,
US dollar
so I think
prize
we'll
to
probably
win.
come now to the end of this briefing. So I think if you like any of those coaching remarks or anything like that, please let me know. If you have any questions, please leave it in the chat. I think this time we did not have much of the discussions with the live chat, but
Okay,
at the
probably less
same
than 100
time,
meter.
just definitely
Ian
leave
Williams
any
and his crew
comments
reach out John
you
and
want.
Gavin
I'll try to answer them
cross
on
the finish
the
line
video.
in match
I think
4
next time we'll be doing some
in the
kind of
final
again back
of the
to streaming of
2025 Men's Cup.
the game. I'll try to do also walkthrough of several
Tomorrow we can
sailing simulators
congratulate
that you can use also in winter
Ian Williams
time. I'll walk through and
yeah, well
tell you
done.
what's kind of pros and cons,
Yeah, you can see they
and
just
at the same
passing
time we might have another
and
watch party
the first
for
win
some of
was Ian
the
Williams. He
situations that
won
we
the
had in situation in Auckland. So I'll try to do that one ahead of the one in Australia, as in Sydney. And yeah, there's a bunch of situations, so we can maybe try to make another watch party. Okay, that's it. I think that brings
late
this to the end
team
of
Egnot-Johnson, so did a very good job. They win the second place here Macau